Welcome to the commentary booth, where we watch and you guessed it, commentate on the week that was in movies and TV. I'm your host and play-by-play commentator Jamie Apps, and each week I'm joined by a rotating cast of colour commentators to help you find your next viewing treat. This week I'm joined by an Impact V technician who lists their favourite movie as A Nightmare on Elm Street and favourite TV show as Golden Girls. Welcome back to the show, Corrina Mabey.
Hello again. How's it going?
Yeah, not too bad.
Chilling, wheeling, dealing.
Working through 8 million podcasts and videos to edit, and magazine's done, so that's one less thing to worry about.
I'm decorating for Halloween. Halloween is next week, and I decided that this was a perfect week to decorate my outside because, we had a hurricane and everything.
Oh yeah, you couldn't really do it early because everything would have blown away.
Yeah, so now is good a time as any to start decorating the outside, so good time.
So yeah, since it is spooky season, doing something a little bit different this week, rather than revisiting a movie or a TV show, kind of adjacent because there is a movie coming out, we are revisiting a game following its recent remake, but ahead of the film adaptation. So without further ado, let's attempt to survive Until Dawn.
Woot woot.
So Until Dawn is originally a PlayStation 4 game from, I believe it was 2015?
Old as dirt.
But it's since been released on PlayStation 5, this time developed by Supermassive Games and published by Sony. This time it was developed by Ballistic Moon, originally by Supermassive. In Until Dawn, a group of teenagers spend the weekend at a ski lodge on the anniversary of their friend's disappearance, unaware that they are not alone. And then, so this time they used Unreal Engine 5 and have released it on PlayStation 5. Also, in January, a film adaptation directed by David F. Sandberg, who is known for Lights Out, Annabelle Creation, the 2 Shazam movies, has been announced, with filming finishing at the start of October 5th, with the release date scheduled for April 25th, 2025. Before we dig into it, what is your previous experience, if any, to Until Dawn?
Absolutely nothing. I've never played this game prior to us revisiting it. Everybody told me to play it, and I just never did because I just never got around to it. But I was never opposed to it. It just never ended up on my to-play list.
Yeah, this is like the ultimate Corrina game. It's like a scary movie, but in game form.
I'm very different though. So like I love Resident Evil. I like Silent Hill. Those are my go-to. Like my first game ever to play like on the GameCube. Like I remember getting a GameCube from somebody, and my first game on that was like Resident Evil 4, I think is what it was. It was pretty old. And I loved it. So yeah, spooky games are fun to play, but most of them, like I shouldn't say most of them, but this particular one is not in the game style I'm used to playing. So it just never landed on my PlayStation.
Yeah, it is very like slow walking simulator style, this one, and yeah, you're more like action heavy RPG person.
Yeah, I am a very open world person. Like my go-to open world games are like my favorite game of all open world games is Final Fantasy 12. So yeah, those are more my speed, is like being able to explore and do like all the different side quests and have free reign of everything, whereas this is very cut and dry, like stay on this path and we're gonna walk at a snail's pace.
Yeah, and you also you played the original PS4 version through PlayStation Plus.
Yes.
I played the new remake version, the PlayStation 5 version, after previously playing that OG PS4 version and platinuming it. So doing every potential like ending you could do, keeping
Hmm.
everyone alive, letting everyone die, collecting everything in the game. So I've pretty extensively played it. I only played through it once this new time and ended up with some people alive, some people dead, which
Hmm.
is I think basically the exact same outcome I had the first time I played it. I had some people didn't make it, others did, and then I replayed it to keep everyone alive, and then I replayed it to let everyone die because
Yeah,
you knock it out real quick. You get down to the end, and you've only got one person left, and you're like, okay, now die.
yeah, and I didn't know that was a thing because I remember messaging you after I finished, and I was like, "Was this supposed to happen? Is this how it was supposed to end?" Because it was so different from. That is one thing I will give this game credit for is that it is very unique from anything I've ever played because it is kind of like a choose your own path, like one of those like old school like Goosebump books where it's like choose your own adventure thing. So I do appreciate it in that sense, but I always felt like I was doing things wrong, and you were like, "No, just do what you want to do because it'll make sense in the end." So I do appreciate that.
So yeah, in contrasting those two versions, I will say the remake runs that crap. It's like really, really bad on frame rates and stuff, and facial expressions, particularly Peter Stormare as the therapist.
Hmm.
Some of his facial expressions are absolutely horrible. Like
Oh
he'll
gosh.
say something and then just go, you're like, what the fuck? What is going on with your face?
He's stroking out.
Yeah, so at times it also looks like crap, but it's definitely the way it runs is the biggest issue. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. They did make some slight changes, namely, so when you arrive on the mountain, I believe in the original, it's nighttime when they all arrive.
Hmm. Or like dusk time ish.
Yeah. So in this one, it's sort of earlier in the afternoon, like it's actually bright and sunny, which
Mm.
makes more sense. Like, why would you be arriving in the middle of the night to go up this snow-covered mountain where there's a sign? They specifically point out a sign that says, "Yeah, be careful. There's like bears and coyotes and stuff up here, so
Yeah.
just don't. You might die."
Yep.
So you're definitely not going to be arriving at nighttime alone, one person at a time.
I mean, why not? Be adventurous. Come on. That's like fun.
So yeah, that's changed, and I think that's a logical change. That makes sense.
Hmm.
They unlock the camera in the remake. So in the original, it's this is the angle that you have
Yes.
for this particular area that you're in and interaction that you're about to have until you move to a certain different point,
Hmm.
like off screen, and then it'll shift cameras. This one is full, you have full 3D control of the camera and move it around the person. For me, that's a negative change because
Hmm.
in that first one, it is like a scary movie where everything's framed very intentionally so that you can have sort of things happening in the background or like a shadow on through a window and stuff like that
Right.
play into scaring you.
Hmm.
This one, there were multiple times where I was walking down a hallway or walking through a room and I heard a noise for something, but that's literally all it was. I just heard the noise. I was like, oh, I don't know where that was.
And see, for me, I'm a camera angle bitch. Like, I cannot stand not being able to move my fucking camera. So, like, when I was playing this game and I was like walking in certain areas, I was like, I can't fucking
Getting
see
very
around this
frustrated.
table. I was like, I can't see around this fucking couch. Like, have I cleared the couch? I can't fucking tell. Like, I can't look around that bookshelf to see if there's like something in the corner. Why can't I fucking move my goddamn camera? It was so irritating for me. So I love the fact that we are both opposite on that because if I could fucking change that, I 100% would so I can move my camera around to everywhere.
I do remember there being like a few times I was like, oh, this camera angle is a bitch to try and collect this one little thing.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's
I
shit.
think for story purposes, it's much better. It's like, it's more like you're the director in a movie and you're like, hey, I
Mhm.
need you to go over here, like look
Yeah.
this way. Whereas this one, it's like, I am this person. Like it's
Mhm.
the third person over the shoulder
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, like there's a scene at the end where uh, one of the characters is they're walking along and like the candle lights itself.
Mm-hmm.
You would have saw the candle light itself.
Mm-hmm.
All I saw was the character freak the fuck out. They're just walking along like, ah, and I'm like, what? What are we doing?
What
What? It,
happened?
what? It's like, okay.
That's awesome.
And then it goes and shows you like how that happened,
Mm-hmm.
and like you see the like security footage of him lighting the candle remotely.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's what she jumped at. What the? Okay, cool.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I feel like they're this particular game, like when they remastered it, like they could have done a mixture where certain scenes are locked into a certain position, maybe. Like I know that they do that sometimes with like cinematics and stuff. So they probably could have
With
done something
stuff
like
like that,
that.
when they
But
know there is going to be this,
yeah.
like that's a pretty important story point that this candle lights itself.
Yeah, just like lock the camera at that point, and I know they can do like certain camera locks, like in certain like certain pinpoints of the game. So that might have been something that they could have done, but I don't know. I really wish I had a fucking control of the camera angles because it was just fucking irritating, dude. So irritating.
The totems, they've been
Hmm.
fully reworked and um, all the locations have been changed. They're all in
Oh,
new spots, which is
that's
cool. Like
interesting.
it forces
Hmm.
new like old players to come and explore again.
Yeah.
And they also added a new set of totems called the Hunger Totems,
Oh,
which
okay.
give you a little bit more info about Hannah's struggle for survival
Okay.
throughout the game, which we really, in your version, you don't really hear, like, understand that she was forced to be a cannibal and
Yeah,
that's why she
no,
turned.
it's just kind of like implied after a while, but like nothing really
When you
like
find
definite.
she's a Wendigo, you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, like, but it's way, way later. Like everything is just so mysterious. That is one thing. This game's like storyline, as fun as it is a storyline, it is very dragged out. At least for me, it's the pacing of it is so slow. And I get it. It's because you're supposed to be like slowly discovering things and unraveling things, but it all has to do with the fucking gameplay and them walking at the pace of a snail. That's what it really
Mm.
fucking is.
I do like the storyline though, where it, like, you think it's like this one thing where it's like this crazy killer on the
Hmm.
loose,
Yeah.
and then you get the like supernatural twist. Okay,
Yep.
I like that.
Yeah.
Very, very Shyamalan esque.
Yeah, that is really fun actually. I really like the misdirection that they lead you down just to kind of smack you back, and it's really fun. Like that aspect of it
Especially the
is really well
flamethrower guy.
done. Dude, the flamethrower guy, like as cool as he was, he just seemed like a random added bonus. Like he seems like one of those like I don't know
He's
sidekicks
just,
you unlock from like doing like an accomplishment of some sort.
yeah, really only in there is like this red herring of like, oh, there's the guy.
Yeah,
That's the
he's
guy
so
that keeps killing
random.
everyone, and then it's like, oh no, just kidding. And then
JK.
you've got like the sort of the scream esque elements where you think it's one of the kids.
Yep.
Ultimately, it's not one of the kids. Yeah, so it's kind of cool that it has that sort of scream bit where you're like, oh, it's one of these kids, and
Mm-hmm.
then it is, but it isn't.
Right.
Even that, the kid that's doing the shit isn't, and also a bit of influence from like Saw.
Yes.
There's some traps in here. You're like, oh, that's a Saw trap and a half.
Yeah, there were some pretty brutal kind of demises for people. And I mistakenly killed people, which I kind of felt bad for, but at the end I kind of didn't. Like there was like one that I felt bad that he died, like when I forget his fucking name, but he gets pushed off because he decides to shoot a fucking like I decided to shoot a fucking deer, and they just decided to like push him off the fucking ledge, and then instead of me hitting the button. Because this game is all about timing with fucking buttons. And so my timing was very off and he slipped in like his head. I felt really bad about that one.
Don't hurt the animals. That's a trophy. Don't hurt any animals.
Didn't know that. And also my problem is that so generally like we're a very mixed household in my house. So I have the PS4 in my room, but but Chloe has the Switch in her room. And when I switch over to playing from the Switch to the PlayStation, I get my fucking keys mixed up. And so I'm like, oh, let me hit that's not the right button. Nope, that is not it. And I fuck it all up. So that happened
Yeah,
a
it's
lot.
always a PlayStation. I'm like 100% locked in, I think, from playing like PS1 all the way through to PS5.
Mm-hmm.
X, circle, square, triangle. Sweet.
Yeah.
It's when I then go to Xbox and
Mm-hmm.
X is where square is.
That's fucked up. Yeah, I can't. Mm-mm.
That totally fucks me up.
Yep.
And then Switch, I think X is where circle is.
I think so. I don't know. I'm trying to see my Switch controller on the counter, but I can't.
Yeah.
I can't
I
see it
think
from here.
yeah, X is in a different spot again, and it's like, oh
Mm-hmm.
fuck.
Yeah, I get
That
all fucked
when I
up.
went to play Zelda, I was like, oh, what the? Every time I had to like press a button to pick something, I was like, okay, that one.
Yeah, it's that one. Yeah. Yeah, so it fucks with me hard. And then on top of that, I'm so used to like for action sequences, I'm so used to like hitting X to attack something. The fact that I cannot just hit X to jump in this game, like there's no jumping in this game. Like I can't just jump over like a little fucking hill. So
Mm-hmm.
every time like I went to go do something, I would instantly want to hit X because I was like, that's the nope, it's not the right button. So yeah, that led to a lot of people dying accidentally on my game.
Yeah, yeah. In that deer scene, all you had to do was walk forward.
Yeah, no, I gather that. Thanks. Thanks a lot. I didn't for the record, I didn't shoot a bird. Like I was given the option to shoot a bird when they were like whatever
Yeah,
target
and the
practice and I
squirrel.
did not.
Did you shoot a squirrel?
No, I didn't shoot the squirrel either, I don't think. I think I just like left them all except for the deer. I was just like, oh, that deer looks rabid. I'm gonna fucking kill it.
Yeah. So a couple of the other changes they made were the prologue, where they show the prank happening and all of that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
That's slightly longer, so you get a bit more context of how it all came to be, who was involved, and all that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
But the biggest change, there's a whole new ending.
Oh, well, fucking thanks a lot for that one. Plot twist.
Yeah, there's a whole new ending, and an ending that now teases a sequel.
Double plot twist. Wow. Okay, I'm buckled up now, so hit me with it. Because
So
I know how my ending happened. So now I'm
yeah,
curious.
so there's like, I guess in like that original, there's like hundreds of endings that you can get depending on who survives, what you pick up, blah
Right.
blah blah, all the various combinations of things where everyone can die, everyone can live, anything in between. The only people that have to die are the twins
Mhm.
from the blog, which makes sense.
Yeah.
It's impossible to revert choices, so that if like you with the deer guy, when he dies, you're like, well, I fucked that up. There's no way to go back until you finish the game, and then you
Mhm.
can go back and go chapter by chapter. But you have to replay the whole chapter. You can't just
Yeah. And
skip to the
they're
end if someone dies at the end.
yeah, it's not like a 10-minute chapter either. They're somewhat longer.
Yeah, it's pretty meaty. Like there's 10 chapters plus the prologue and the epilogue,
Mhm.
and it's about 8 to 10 hours if you just sort of beeline main way through. I think if
Gotcha.
you explore a bit more, you can push it to maybe like 15 to 20.
Mm.
But yeah, there are hundreds of endings, depending on, like we said, if you pick this item up, you read this thing, you get all the totems, this person dies, but this person lives, or this person lives, but this person dies.
Right.
Uh, there's like 22 critical choices that will like drastically change things of that person dies, this person lives.
That makes sense.
Yeah. The original canon ending that they push as the one that you want is where
Mhm.
everyone lives.
Oh.
No, it's where like one person in particular lives. But ideally they want you to get through it and get everyone to live.
Oh. Done fucked that up.
This, in your version, there is one player like Josh, the one played
Mhm.
by Rami Malek.
Yeah.
You either see him die or he gets taken by the Wendigo and it's just kind of ambiguous of I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
In this new ending, you can actually save him. He can live. Like
Okay.
you are absolutely 100% certain he lives because he gets rescued out of the mine, and then in that prologue scene where they're interviewing everyone by the police,
Mhm.
if he lives, he's in that.
Okay.
Whereas in your version, there is no way to have him in that. He's either dead or
Yeah.
taken
Yeah, he got eaten. Like his nom 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 nom
and
nom.
popped.
Yeah. Like
Yep, that's
yeah.
that's what happened in my remake playthrough as well.
Yeah. I was like, "Oh, he dead. He's definitely dead now."
So in order to get him to live in this new version, you have to pick up the journal,
Okay.
and then when he's being asked by Peter Stormare about like why did you do this, blah 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 blah, he has to like show remorse and like apologize and stuff. And
Gotcha.
if you do that at the end when he's got that option, if he's redeemed himself, he will be kept alive and then rescued from the mines.
Ah.
And then that ultimately then changes the prologue. So
Mhm.
he's there being interviewed. And then there's an additional part where we see Hayden Panettiere's character also alive. So yeah,
Mhm.
those two specifically have to live for this scenario to play out.
Okay.
Jumps to the future after they've done all the interviews and stuff. She's like now seemingly a like world renowned author about like monsters and bits and pieces like this.
Interesting.
And for me, this is where I think this teaser that they're like sequel teaser that they've woven into this remake,
Mhm.
I don't think it's for a new game.
It's probably for the movie.
I think it's for the movie.
Yeah. Like it's a
Otherwise,
continuation of the game.
why would you put the remake out now,
Mhm.
not when the movie comes out?
Yeah, because it would be a better marketing strategy to release the sequel game as the movie's coming out to draw more attention to both of them.
Or just the
So,
remake, like they did with The Last of Us. They put
yeah.
out the remakes when the show came out,
Mhm. Yeah.
not beforehand. Like that'd be silly.
Right. Like I kind of want to go online now and just watch the alternate
Mm.
ending just so I can see it.
Available on YouTube now, so you can like actually just go and watch the
Yeah, because
ending.
like I know how mine ended, and they were just like interrogated because only three people survived in my game because I'm a wretched
Mhm.
person. I shot some girl in the face like just because I thought she was gonna be bad, so I gave no fucks towards the end. But yeah, so it's just it'd be interesting to see how that varies now and how they did that.
It shows her she's like asleep and she wakes up and she's like hearing, I think she hears like Josh's voice or something, and it's like she has like a cut on her arm and you're like, oh, that looks kind of weird, what is that?
Mm,
So I think yeah, it's teasing. Like at the end when the house explodes, you see
hmm.
the Wendigo spirit come out,
Yep.
and they say earlier in the game that like if you kill them, that allows the spirit to then go and enter someone else, and it's not until they like eat human flesh that then the turn takes place.
Right.
I think the cut on her arm is her like in her sleep, like biting herself
Hmm.
and kind of being a cannibal, but like just eating herself, not someone else.
Hmm. I mean, we could possibly. I mean, there's multiple ways that that could go though, because like if it's like in the later on in the future after the events of the game, she could have easily like nicked herself, like got a paper cut or something, and just like, ow, oh my gosh, and then that could have been like a turning point for her. So there's like a lot of open possibilities for that to go down that road. That'd be a really interesting concept. I'm curious.
Yeah. So I think, and like they had to get her back to film that and do the mocap for that. So there's
Yeah, true.
obviously plans in that because I don't think Hayden Panettiere is like, she's still a pretty well recognizable name. Like I don't think you just bring her in for here's $100. We're just going to film this thing for a day.
No, yeah, it's not. She hasn't been like super active, but she does have things out there. I'm sure. It's just It's not one of those like, everyday
Well,
names
she was in the most
anymore.
recent Scream movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, come on. You had to have her. The thing.
Yeah, like I think that's where this remake, like this new movie that's coming out, I think that's where that's going to be, and I
Hmm.
think that's more compelling than if they just rehashed the game story.
Yeah.
Because what made the game special was that it was a game.
Hmm.
Otherwise, it's just a pretty generic horror story with a couple of twists and turns, nothing like outrageous.
Hmm. I think the only thing I can see happening negatively if they don't somewhat reference, they have to at least reference the game somehow in the movie, because for people who have never
Hmm.
played the game, they're probably like, if they try to make it like a continuation of the original, people aren't going to understand like the importance of certain characters probably. So they would have to find a way to like kind of recap that, I guess. But I mean, I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
that's a 20-minute intro.
Yeah, it is. I don't know.
It doesn't have to be 8 hours.
No,
Like
it doesn't.
it's a pretty extensive story when you think about it. Like it's like we said, at least an 8 hour story. So that's if you remade that into a movie, like that's condensing big
Yeah.
chunks of the story. So I think you can do flashbacks, you can do bits and pieces
Hmm.
and tell a fresh new story. Because like if you've played the game, why would you go see a movie that's just a remake of the game?
I don't know. Like, I mean, it worked well for Resident Evil.
Did it though? Those movies.
They're dated, but don't be fucking hating on my goddamn Resident Evil movies, because the first like two were pretty fun, okay? Same thing, like, I don't know, I really enjoyed the original Silent Hill movie when it came out. The remake was fucking awful, but I liked the first one. It was really fun. But I don't know. I feel like video game movies, this is where I kind of have an issue with video game movies. They are very hit or miss. And they have a very like critical audience, I should say, because you have people
Hmm.
that have played the games and they're like, they want specific things in it. And then when they don't get those things, they're like, oh, this is fucking trash. But then you have other people who are just normal moviegoers who are like, oh, that looks interesting. Like, I think my perfect example of one of those is Tomb Raider. Like, my mom is obsessed with the Tomb Raider movies. Like, she thinks that Angelina Jolie is the best Laura Croft to ever exist. Um, and those
No,
movies,
there's a better. There's a better. Has she seen the newest
no. And that's the thing.
Tomb Raider
She
movie?
has
That's better than the Lara than the Angelina Jolie one.
right. And my mom, like, that was her introduction to the Lara Croft movies. So she has no desire to ever see the newer one that came out, because it's just in her mind that that's Lara Croft. But she's also never played the games. So you have people like her that are just like, oh, yes, it's fantastic. And then you have people like us who are just like, no, 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 no.
To be
So
fair, I'm not a Tomb Raider guy. I didn't play the games.
I've never played like that newer one, but I did like the newer movie that came out with that other girl versus the Angelina Jolie
Oh
one.
yeah, the Alicia Vikander ones. That's a way better movie than the Angelina Jolie ones, and she's a
Yeah,
way better Lara.
yeah. But
Alicia
again, like I
Vikander.
said, like we know the source material. My mom has no idea about the source material from that. So, that's where you have like the hit or miss when it comes to video game movie adaptations. And it's kind of the same thing with books too. That you have people that either love book adaptation movies, or you have people that fucking hate them because they don't put enough in them.
Are you a trading card collector or a fan of Australian pro wrestling? If so, you're not going to want to miss out on the limited edition Australian wrestling cards. Each set includes 50 packs of 10 cards, including some of the country's top wrestling talents like Robbie Eagles, Shane Haste, Madison Eagles, Hartley Jackson, and they have Shaza McKenzie listed, although she is not a favorite. The velocities, and a lot more. There's wrestlers, referees, announcers, commentators that are featured, giving you a full appreciation of the Australian independent scene. The cards sold out a lot faster because cards are hot right now, as I'm sure Jeremy Lambert will tell you. But you can order your Australian wrestling cards now at Pario Magazine. That's PARIO magazine.com.au/AUS WRES cards. Follow Australian Wrestling Cards on social media at AusResCards for updates. Join the hundreds of fans who have already discovered the excitement of Australian wrestling cards.
Yeah, like, because the people that have played this have spent so long with it, like at least 8 hours with all of these characters, seeing all the ins and outs and intricacies of how their story plays out. So it does make sense that, then you go into a 2-hour movie and you're like, oh, they left this bit out that I really enjoyed. And it's like, another person's like, oh, but you left that bit out that I really enjoyed, but you kept this bit that I didn't really enjoy. It's like, you're never going to make someone that has spent between 8 and 20 hours with a product. You can't keep them happy in a 2-hour movie.
No, and I think that's why probably Last of Us worked so well, is because even though they did add additional things to the show or like emphasized more things that weren't really shown in the game, you had 8 episodes, 8 1-hour long episodes to go with. Whereas if they condensed that into a movie, I don't think it would have been as well received, probably.
Oh, no. And it helped that the original writer of the games was involved in that series. So it stayed true to what they wanted.
Yeah.
But I think this movie that they've got coming up in April, I think it has pretty good potential. Like, David Sandberg, Lights Out is very good. Annabelle Creation, it's okay. Shazam movies, not the greatest, but they're fine for what they are. Like, they're superhero shock. But the cast looks pretty promising as well. Like, you've got Ella Rubin from Billions, Gossip Girl, and Masters of the Air. She's a solid actress. Michael Cimino from Annabelle Comes Home. So, like, classic horror stuff. Ji Young Yu from Moxie and Expats. Odessa Asian from MIOK. She's from the Hellraiser 2022 version as well. And she's been in Nashville, so it's another solid one. Maya Mitchell. So there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which again makes me think this isn't a remake of the original game.
No.
Like, there's a new story being told here. And Peter Stormare from Prison Break and from the original game is returning. So I think it's going to keep that doctor, psychologist, but I think this time it's going to be the Hayden Panettiere character going to the psychiatrist being like, I'm having all this weird fucked up dreams and thoughts and hearing voices and stuff. I need help.
I love him. He's so fantastic. Like, I know he was kind of just like a side character essentially in this game, but he was such a vital character as well. And he
was the one that tied it all together and gave you some of the reveals and things.
Yeah, he's also the reason why, I fucked up and got to see things that I didn't want to see and didn't have any fucking warning about it. So you can get fucked with that.
To be fair, you fucked that up. That's not on me for not telling you. Like,
it's definitely on you.
When a scary game asks you, are you scared of this or this? Which one is more scary? Don't pick the one that's actually more scary to you.
But it's my natural reaction to just be like, yeah, I don't want to fucking see that. And then I'm just going to be like, yeah, it's scary, but I didn't think that all the way through. So go fuck.
When a game is asking you that, it's like, which one is more scary? Because whichever one you pick, we're going to show you more of that shit because we want you to be scared.
Most of my games that I play, when a game asks me what I want to do, it's what attack do you want to use? Like,
not what's scary because we're going to show you more of that. Like, it asks you, are you more afraid of rats or cockroaches?
Can we not say the name? Can we just ban that bug name on this podcast? Like, I feel like
you naturally picked the bugs.
Yeah, it's natural.
Long answer. And then it asks you, are you more afraid of clowns or something else?
I don't remember. I just know that there was some I don't know. I saw a rat came out of someone's mouth. That was disturbing. I saw some bugs on a chair I didn't want to see. Yeah. I'm good.
So then the last sort of element I wanted to ask you about. What did you think of this cast? So we had Hayden Panettiere, who's been in Scream 4, Scream 2022, Scream 6, and obviously like I think the biggest thing she's known for is Heroes, where she was like,
Mm-hmm.
at the time Heroes was on, she was like one of the biggest stars on TV.
Yeah, that put her on the charts, and I've never actually watched Heroes. I only know her as Kirby from Scream, really. So that's
Yep.
my hidden pin here.
And then we also have Rami Malek, who at the time of this game was kind of no one really.
He just had done Mr. Robot, right? Like, or was this like
This
before
was
that?
pre Mr. Robot.
Oh, okay.
So he was kind of a nobody at the time, but since this game,
He's
he's
blown
gone
up.
on to play Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody,
Yep.
won an Emmy for Mr. Robot,
Mm-hmm.
and I think was nominated for an Oscar in Oppenheimer.
Yeah, and wasn't he also like a Bond villain or something? I don't remember if he
Yeah,
was or wasn't.
probably.
I feel like he was in one of the Bond movies. He's big now. He's huge.
Yeah, a heap of awards for big movies.
Yeah.
So if they can get him to just have like a cameo in the new movie, that's
That'd be great.
huge. That like
Mm-hmm.
that adds that little bit of like zing to that movie. It's like, oh
Absolutely.
shit, they have an Oscar nominee in this. So cool.
Yeah.
Peter Stormare, we mentioned from Prison Break. You had Brett Dalton, who's from Elementary and Chicago Fire, Noah Blythe, Galadriel Stinman from Glee, Shameless, and Rosalia Niles, your mum's second favorite show.
Oh my god. Her in this fucking shows, I swear to God, I'm done. Can't.
Nicole Sakura from Shameless and Superstore. Jordan Fisher from High School Musical, the series.
That was a
Did you know
tongue
that was a
twister
show?
for you. I did
That's a show.
actually.
It's an
I know
actual
it's a
show.
show. I've never watched it. I was a High School Musical kid. I think I watched. Actually, I don't think I ever watched the third one, but yeah, I knew that there was a series. I've just never watched
Yeah.
it. It wasn't necessary.
High School Musical, the series.
Yeah, seems
2
the
colons
musicals.
in that
Yeah.
title.
Mm.
And then Megan Martin from Camp Rock 1 and 2 and the 10 Things I Hate About You TV series.
So
What
like
did you think
people
of
from
the overall
Disney.
cast? Yes.
Everybody was great. I literally, aside from like the three main people, like the big named people, I actually didn't recognize anybody else. But now that you're saying what they've been in, I'm like, oh yeah, I watched that show. I should go back and watch them. But yeah, I think it was all fun. I always enjoy when they put celebrities in video games, and they actually look like their celebrity counterparts. Whereas like if you just
Oh
tell
yeah,
them,
it's like that's
because
Hayden
you
Panettiere
see,
and
yeah,
that's
like
Rami Malek and that's
way
Peter
back
Stormare.
like
No
way back in the
doubt
day
about
when they'd be like that, it'd be awful. But I love when video games are now able to put, celebrities slash now they're putting pop culture icons and things. Like I remember when Mortal Kombat came out and they put Alien and Predator in it. And I was just like, this is like the best fucking thing ever because now you're like multiversing it. But yeah, I like when they actually make characters look like what they are and who are voicing
Well,
them versus just like, ugh.
Art the Clown is being added to a game in the next like couple of weeks as well. I can't remember what game it was, but yeah,
Oh,
Art the
that's
Clown is going to
fun.
be in a game.
Yeah, that is really fun, actually. I didn't even know that, but that's kind of an interesting thing. You can just sit there and go "Whoop, whoop," with the little horn and put on some sunglasses.
Yeah,
But no,
it's like
yeah, it's great. I
I
like
thought the cast was really good.
Yeah.
The dialogue and stuff that they have to work with, pretty cringe and not great.
Some of it is real cringe, especially by today's standards. Like the way that like Josh and Chris talk about the women and stuff like that. It's just like, ew, gross, red flags and bleh.
Yeah, it's very much a sign of like 2015. Like it's very much in
Yeah.
that era of jokes and like teenage lingo.
Yeah, like college quarterbacks or whatever,
Yeah,
or
the problem is I don't think they're college kids. I think
right,
they're
but they
supposed to.
talk like they're
I think
college
it's
kids.
I think it's a very much like last week in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're supposed to be like 15, 16, 17
And they're
year
just
old
like,
kids. And they're like talking about sex and talking
yeah.
about drinking and
Also,
partying and stuff. And then but then when one of the girls loses her phone,
mm-hmm.
she's like, "Oh no, my parents are they're gonna be so angry. This is like the 4th phone this year." I'm like, "You're old enough to buy your own goddamn phones."
Mm-hmm. Not to mention, some of the characters, like, oh God, the guy that's, I forget the fucking character's name, but the guy who's actually with her, that particular scene, whatever fucking one that is,
Mhm.
he looks like a fucking, like, 20, 30-year-old fucking lumberjack. Like,
Yeah, it's
he looks
the
like
same problem as
the oldest out of all of
Nightmare on
them.
Elm Street.
Yeah, he
Playing
looks like
teenagers but look like
awful.
mid-20s.
Yeah, they all look like, oh my God, like they're gonna have a midlife
Even Rami
crisis
Malek
soon.
looks older than a teenager. Like they all look like college kids, not
Yeah, at
teenage
least.
kids.
Yeah, it's very strange. So, yeah, that's fun. Um, but yeah, other than that, I mean, it's really fun. I enjoyed the design of the Wendigo. It was kind of a fun design. It was quite disturbing in certain scenes. Some of them were just kind of uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah.
Like when he's having like visions and like being tormented by his own fucking psyche. But overall, it was a fun ride.
Yeah. And yeah, if you get a chance and like want to go back and do play it so that everyone dies, holy hell, some of those deaths are insane.
Ooh. There were also some
Like,
butterfly effects that I didn't open, and I remember asking you if I did that right because not all of them opened up, and you were like, "No, you just didn't go down that path, so you didn't have to do that one." And I was like, "Oh,
yeah.
I guess I picked the right
And yeah,
way."
if you don't pick up the totem, you don't get to see that little flashback.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I was remembering incorrectly, I was mixing this with Detroit Become Human, which is again very similar. Like it plays out, you make a choice, and then a butterfly effects.
Mm-hmm.
In that game, after every chapter, it shows you this like butterfly effect map,
Mm.
and it shows you like, oh, this is the path you took, and here's where it could have gone, and how many different branches came off that path.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it had that. I wish the remake had gone back and like added that,
That.
because that's such a cool thing to see in Detroit Become Human. You'd be like, oh shit, that went off that way, and then like 8 paths came off that. I went this way, and there was like 2.
Uh-huh.
I was like, I wish I'd gone and done that path now. So then it encourages you to go back and replay it so you can see all those other elements, whereas this one doesn't really do that.
Right.
But yeah, so that's one thing I was disappointed with. But yeah, some of the kills, like
They're
we
rough.
mentioned, there's the very much like the jigsaw traps, and there's even a part where it goes, "Do you want to play a game?" Like it
Yeah,
directly
does.
rips Jigsaw's line. But like the jigsaw trap where you chose to kill Josh and
Yes.
save the girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can kill the girl, and her death's just as brutal, but she actually dies.
Yeah, I also
You chose
there's
to shoot the fucking bitchy girl in the head. You don't have to do that.
Yeah, I actually I
I'm assuming that was
mistakenly
pretty brutal to see as well.
it was. So I mistakenly killed Josh. I actually did not want to kill Josh in that scene. I was actually going to kill the girl.
What the fuck? Why? She's so nice.
I know, and that's why I wanted to kill her because I was like, "You're just too fucking nice. I think you are hiding something." That was what was going through. That's what goes through my sick
Oh
twisted
my
head is like,
god.
"Oh, you're too fucking nice. You must be hiding something." Also, this whole time, I thought Hayden Panettiere's character had something to do with the girls disappearing, like on the sidelines. Like I thought she had a malicious, like other things going on. So my head goes all over the
Yeah.
place because she was like,
ultimately, they're all
such.
kind of shit humans because like
Yeah.
everyone knew the prank was happening except
Mhm.
for Josh because he was passed out.
Yeah.
But everyone knew it was happening, and like, yeah, Hayden Panettiere's character comes and stops it from getting like
Out of
too
hand.
far.
Mm-hmm.
But she still knew it was happening and let it get to that point where the girl got mega embarrassed and ashamed.
Yeah. Yeah, they were all shit.
Like,
But yeah,
they're all kind of shitty humans.
It was pretty quick. Like, oh, when Chris and the girl are at the table, and he's got to either shoot her or himself in the head. Like, I chose to shoot him, but then it ended up being blanks anyway. Um, so that wasn't as brutal as I thought it was going to be. But yeah, shooting the other girl in the head took me no time at all. I was just like, oh, you have a gun. Do you want to shoot her? Do you want to let her go? And I was just like, oh, 2 seconds later, I'm like, through her.
Fuck you, bitch, you can die. You're a cow.
It was like through her fucking eyeball. It was just like in her eye. I was like, oh, that looks like some hostile shit right there.
Yeah, and then when Josh gets killed by the Wendigo, they pop his head, and yeah, there's a few that like full on death. You're like, holy cow!
Yeah. So
And
when
yeah,
this,
your guy falling down, that's pretty rough.
yeah, he hit his head on a rock and just what's her face gets like thrown down the elevator shaft in the mines. That's how she died, and yeah, she was mutil. She was pretty brutal.
Yeah, if you like gory stuff, it's got that for you. But yeah, you can avoid all of that by just making smart choices, not letting anyone die.
I mean, but where would the mystery and
Did Hayden Panettiere's character survive for you?
Yes.
Yeah, I fucked up at the end, so she got killed.
So yeah, it was her and Chris, and then the girl that Chris was interested in.
Ashley,
yes, that one. She was annoying. Yeah, she's the one that I saved. That I was like, God, I should have fucking killed her because she was really fucking annoying. But yeah, those were the three that were saved, and they were like at the end being interrogated, pleading with the cops to go check out everything. So
yeah, I think I had everyone. I think, well, Hayden died because yeah,
you fucked up.
I had the controller just sitting on my lap,
Oh,
and then the vibrations pinged it. I was like, oh, motherfucker.
yeah, I learned that real quick, not to fucking leave it on my
Sit it
like.
down.
Yeah, I literally put it on my bed next to me when it was just like, don't move. I was like, because I didn't want anything coming near it.
So yeah, she died. Rami Malek's character, he died. Brett Dalton's character, Mike, I think his name is. He survived. Noah, the black guy, he survived. Everyone else survived, except for Ashley. I think she died in the mines because I decided I went hide instead of run. No, I said run instead of hide, and because you run, it can see you and it gets you.
Oh,
because they can only see movement. So if you hide, it can't see you. But if you run, it sees you and it gets you.
Yeah, you fucked up.
Everyone except for Ashley, Hayden, and Rami died for me. I was like, oh.
Oh well. Well, we both fucked up.
That's Until Dawn. I'm super amped for the movie. I'm keen to see it. Hopefully it lives up to the game, and hopefully they don't. I just hopefully it's. If I'm right about the sequel being the movie, not another game, I'm gonna be so stoked. I'm pretty sure that's what it's. That has to be it, surely.
I'm gonna really laugh if they decide to like announce like a sequel when the movie's getting ready to premiere. Like the premiere of the movie, they're just like, and here's a trailer for our upcoming sequel game, Until Dawn.
And here's our game that's out now. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I will lose my shit.
Yeah, just please don't do a straight beat for beat remake of the game, because that's gonna make that movie so uncompelling. I've seen it.
Yeah,
I'll wait till streaming.
It'll be fun. I don't know.
In terms of a rating, what would you give the original 2015 version of Until Dawn now?
So I have two ratings for this fucking thing. So story-wise, it's like a 4 for me because it is a really fun story. However, gameplay-wise, this game is like a 2 to a 3 for me because I cannot stand how slow-paced it is. But that is just a personal preference because I am such an open world girly that it kills me to stay on a fucking designated path and not have camera angles.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe the remake would fix some of those issues, but it's still very like slow plodding. You're just able to move the camera, so you might bump it up to a 3.
Yeah. But yeah, for gameplay, it's more like a 2.5.
Yeah, I gave the original, the version you played, I gave that a 4. Like I think that's a great version. Like if you have the option of just buy the full price remake or just play it on PlayStation Plus, just pay for a month of PlayStation Plus. You can pump this out in a weekend. The remake, I gave a 3 because of those like performance issues that I said. They just pulled me out of it. I'm like, how? Like if you play the original on a PlayStation 5, it runs at 60 frames a second, butter smooth. You play the remake, it's 30 and sometimes dips, and then you get the weird facial things. The only benefit of playing it is you get that new ending, and you get some extra little bits and pieces throughout that add extra elements to the story and flesh it out a bit more. But
so it's really just like what's
just jump on YouTube and watch the new ending.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you don't want to be tormented by bad running shit. Jesus Christ.
So yeah, but we'll be back when the movie comes out and we'll review the movie and hopefully it's good.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Thank you everyone for listening to the commentary booth. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on podcast services and on YouTube. You can follow Corrina on Instagram at Miss Corrina Renee, and you can follow me on Jamie Apps Media and at Pario Magazine. The commentary booth is a fan-funded production of Jamie Apps Media. You can support the podcast alongside our magazine, Pario Magazine, on Patreon at patreon.com/Jamie Apps Media. The following people supported at the publisher level or higher, and you cannot fathom how incredibly appreciative we are for their support.